This is part 2 of our conversation with Sherri-Lee, a Facebook marketing and ads coach that has been in the business for more than 12 years and has a following of almost 60,000 people. Sherri-Lee will talk about great ways that you can use to stand out in the newsfeed, get more visibility, and make clients come to you without grinding 24/7 or chasing people. Don't miss the valuable insights from part 1. You can easily find the link for part 1 in the caption below. Now, let's dive straight into part 2. Now, we spoke already about some different topics. I'm really glad that we mentioned things around the challenge because I know many coaches hear about it, but they don't really understand what is it and how that can help you get more clients or grow your business. Um, Now, I want to take a step back though and ask you more about that juicy Facebook algorithm. What's that secret sauce? How can we make it work in our favor? Now, you said something on the lines of, Facebook gives you a lot. It gives you, in a way, free clients on the exchange of your time investment, but you have to give something back as well. Can you tell us more? What is it that we have to give back? Do we have to engage with other people's posts, comment, be active, reply to messages? How can we trigger that Facebook algorithm in our favor?
The number one thing to know is the algorithm is there as a sorting tool to show people the most engaging, fun posts in their newsfeed. That's the key. It's like a frequent shoppers program in a grocery store. If you go in and you buy paper towels and a month later you haven't bought paper towels, they're going to give you an invitation to buy more paper towels because they want you to come back and buy paper towels from them. And they've tracked your purchases so they know when you need to purchase again. It's very similar. So on Facebook, if I was to post something and you saw it and it didn't interest you, it bored you, it was immediately a sale, you didn't know who I was, you might just scroll by it. The algorithm notices that Sherri-Lee posted something and Maria didn't like it. And that's all it knows. It's not super complicated. It's kind of basic. It goes, okay, Sherri-Lee posted, nobody commented, nobody's interested in Sherri-Lee's post. We're not going to show Sherri-Lee's post to people anymore. It's that simple. Sherri-Lee didn't post for 7 days. I went away on holidays. She didn't post for 7 days. And then she posted and nobody interacted with it. So it's not that interesting. So the algorithm's looking for that interesting content that will get people to stay on Facebook. That's why that post of mine earlier in the year had so many comments on it, because it was fun. It was engaging. People started talking to each other on the post. It took on a life of its own. Facebook saw that and went, oh, well, we want to show that to more people because people are enjoying this content. So the way to get the algorithm to show your content to more people is to get more people to interact with your content. And I always say your past engagement will control your future reach. So the focus is always to get people to like, comment, and share on your posts. Now, if they aren't doing that on the posts you're creating today, it's time to look at those posts and create something different and ask yourself, are they incentivized to say something? Is there a reason? A lot of us, create these really brilliant posts that are statements or one-way communications. Then we wonder, why don't we get likes, comments, and shares on them? Well, there's no reason for me to comment. I don't know what to say. I've got nothing to say to that. I might nod my head and then scroll by. And thankfully, Facebook cannot track head nods yet. Right? So it's all about, that's why I have a piece of engaging content going out every single day, because what it does is it gets people to like, comment, and share on those posts, which means all my future posts are going to get more reach by Facebook because of those posts. You've got to start somewhere. And if you're not getting the engagement that you want, then I want you to look at your posts and think, what could I ask of my viewers, of the people who see this post, that would be easy for them to answer? Now, don't run out and start asking, what's your biggest problem? Because most people aren't going to bare their souls out in public for the world to see, right? Like if you're a fitness coach or a weight loss coach, if you go and post on your page, what's your biggest struggle with keeping the weight off or keeping to your New Year's resolutions? you have to remember that people seeing that are telling their friends and family that they're doing great at their New Year's resolutions. They're doing great at their eating. They're, on their diet like they've been all year, and they're following keto or whatever it is. But really, they're sitting at night eating a bag of chips. And so they aren't going to tell you, well, the problem is I can't stop eating chips, because they know all their friends and family could potentially see that post. So we have to be protective of their status in their world as well. So we can't ask them those kind of questions right out of the gate or in a public venue. That would be like, standing up at a conference of 50 people and say, who here's addicted to chips? Who's going to put their hands up if you're at a fitness conference, right? Who here is addicted to chips? How many people are going to admit that? Everybody is protective of their social status, right? So our questions, our interaction has to be protective of that as well. So maybe do a question that positions that allows them to answer it and maintain or raise their status. Something positive, flip it to the positive. Facebook always wants us to be the positive. So do a question, do a poll. Which snack do you prefer? And do an apple or an orange, or nuts or celery. Do you know what I mean? Like something very in line that people could go, okay, well, if I'm out of chips, in their head, they're thinking this, if I've eaten the chips already, then I'll have an apple. So now I can answer your question. I'm going to have the apple. Nobody knows about the chips. I still maintain my status, but you get the interaction. Then you can answer, like, what's your favorite kind of apple? And the conversation is started in a very safe way that this person feels safe to talk to you, and Facebook sees you've got an engagement.
Got it. And once they comment the apple, the orange, or whatever answer, do you usually go back with any answer to them, or
Always.
always specific?
Always. So I say always, but of course, like this post that's got 300,000 comments on it, I can't possibly, right? I tried at first to keep up, and then it was like, no, this is crazy. So as much as possible, you're going to want to respond to people. Facebook's watching for that too. The algorithm's watching for that too. If you ask a question, which snack do you prefer, apple or oranges? If you ask that question and you get 10 people who respond, you might as well have put a newspaper up between you and your friend while you're having coffee after you've said, how are you doing? And then you're not really interested in the answer. You don't really care. Facebook is going to see that, right? So if you're starting conversation with people that they are responding to, then you need to be there to participate when they respond. Now, I'm not saying you have to be on Facebook 24/7. Once a day, check in on that post. Oh, somebody said apple. Hey, what's your favorite kind of apple? Somebody said oranges. Do you like the big ones or do you like the little mini ones? Mandarins, what's your favorite type of orange? Right? There's just a conversation to be had about anything if you are thinking about the person on the other side of the screen. And because we can't see them, it's a little bit harder. People, I think, have a challenge with that. But just imagine that you're sitting and having coffee with this person. What would be your next comment? Oh, I've got this great recipe for an orange cake. I don't know. Do you like peanut butter on your apples? It's a great way to get a little bit of protein with your snack. Like, there's so many ways that you can spin this and have a conversation that's meaningful, that keeps things going. But Facebook is looking for you to continue the conversation once you start the conversation. Now, after you've replied, most people don't come back again. Sometimes they do. The more engagement, the more reach you get, you'll get people replying again to you. That's great. They're like, oh, I only eat delicious. I've only ever had delicious apples. Well, you got to try this one. And you are now positioning yourself as an expert. You can say, I've got this training on great snacks. Are you interested in that? Boom. Now you've got a whole different level of conversation happening with people because you asked a light question that preserved their status and was easy to answer. And Facebook is loving you.
Got it. That's really useful tips for all of us to use. So no more excuses from today. We have all of these tips from Sherri-Lee, and we apply them, and we get that engagement and visibility, which gets me to the next question. What is the key to more visibility on Facebook? I know we touched some of the points, but how would you put it together?
Oh, the key to visibility is repetition and focusing on the reader of your post more than on yourself, I would say. Really just be consistent every day, create something, look at the result every day. And if that didn't work, try something else. Truly, I'm here 12 years later in my business, starting from zero without a clue about how to run a business to the amazing business I have now because I didn't give up, because I wanted to go, okay, that didn't work. What else could I try? Because I knew that people were doing what I wanted to do. It can't be that there's something wrong with me or with you. It's just that you haven't hit the right routine or pattern yet for your audience. But they're there and they're waiting and they need you. So just keep trying and be willing to look at it analytically instead of personally.
Got it. Follow up question. We know we can get visibility, engagement, leads through organic marketing. So without paid ads. We know that.
Mhm.
You told us that it works. But when should a coach use paid ads? How should they think about it? Is it when they get to a certain level, or when should they start using paid ads?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I have a lot of people reach out to me and say, "Ooh, I want to run ads." And my first question is, are you clear on what you want to run ads to? And have you sold the thing that you're trying to run ads to ever before? So I think personally, if you have never sold the item that you're going to try and sell through ads, then you need to prove that item first, that it's sellable. Otherwise, you're going to spend so much money. So do your testing organically, do your testing through strategic organic strategies. And then once I know who my audience is, I know what their problem is, I know how I'm solving that problem, I know that this sequence works, and I know that people, claim the lead magnet and then buy the program, or do the challenge and then buy the program, then start running ads to it after you know it works. Everybody that I know who has talked to me, who has struggled with ads and said, I ran ads and it didn't work, miss that piece. They either didn't know that what they were offering was going to work, they didn't know who to target, they couldn't afford them. Don't get yourself in a situation where you're spending money you can't afford to. When you can sell what you're selling organically, do that first, prove it, know how to do it, and then ads are going to just amplify your results, but they aren't going to fix a sales problem.
Got it. So it's all about setting those foundations really well, so then everything else tied to it works. Um,
Exactly.
Got it. And in terms of the budget, right? Because you mentioned some people spending maybe $5 a day, maybe getting leads with $3 a day. What is the budget that we're looking at on maybe a monthly basis for a coach? And then again, obviously, it's tied in with their goals and what is it they're trying to achieve. But do we need to have a lot of money to be able to have this paid ads to work in our favor? How does that influence the way the ads
If
work?
if you've got the right strategy, that's always the key. If you've got the right strategy, you can leverage ads at $5 a day. So what does that work out to be? I don't know how much that is. 150 a month. Now, am I saying that you're going to make $100,000 of sales on a $150 a month ad budget? Probably not. But I always say to people, let's start low. Let's prove the concept. Let's find out our targeting in our ads. Let's find out which copy works. Let's find out what images work. Then we start increasing the ad budget as the sales start coming in. It depends on what you're offering. It depends on the price point. The ads, if you're spending $5 a day and you're trying to sell $1,000 item, it's probably not going to work right out of the gate, depending on who you're targeting. So there's a lot of pieces in there that will dictate what your budget should be. However, if you've got a good strategy and system in place that works to help you keep your reach and your engagement high, you can do a lot of good for your business on a $5 a day budget. It really is. It's something that you have to look at individually. I have clients who spend $100 a day, but they're getting results and they're getting the return that they want. So they're fine spending $100 a day. I've spent $1,000 a day. Again, we didn't start there. I'm not going to do testing at that. So it really depends on where you're at, what you're promoting, and what you can comfortably bear, because this should never keep you up at night.
Got it. And in terms again on when should they start, is there any point that they should start using ads? So you mentioned the after you define maybe the target audience, after you already sold the product that you're trying to sell, is this what they should guide themselves after?
Well, I think that you should start Facebook ads when you want to grow your business page to show your authority and your expertise. So I had a fellow recently come into my world, I think it was last Friday, and he jumped into a program that I have that teaches him how to set up his page and get it, structured properly, and how to grow it with real targeted people and how to engage them. Very sort of entry level program. And in 3 days, he had over 1,000 people liking his page that were highly targeted. And he'd spent $15. So organically getting people to like your page is very, very slow. It's very hard. Not that it can't be done. Once you get to a certain point, it's like a snowball. It goes on its own. And once you've got engagement, it keeps going. But how do you get engagement if nobody likes your page? If nobody likes your page, Facebook doesn't know who to show your post to. That's the base that Facebook uses to determine who to show your post to. So I say jump in at $5 a day and grow your page to a minimum of 1,000 likes, if not more. I mean, I don't know why you'd limit how many people like your page. All of those people are prospects. All of those people are leads. They've liked your page. They've taken that first micro connection. How big do you want that to be? You could have a page with 1 million likes on it. Think of what that would do. Even think of what 10,000 likes on your page could do for your business if you could convert 10% of those. And with the right strategy, you can. So start with ads. As long as you're clear on who you serve and what problem you help them solve, start ads right away to grow your business page.
Got
This
it.
guy literally started his page on Friday.
That is awesome performance in just a short while. You
Mhm.
mentioned in terms of prospects and leads. I know many people really confuse the terms or really have different definitions. What is a prospect for you? What is a lead for you?
I love that question. To me, a lead is anybody who's in my world. Somebody who likes my page, they are a lead because they were a complete stranger to me and now they like my page. So they're indicating to me and to Facebook that they like what I've put out so far and they want to see more of it. Great. Now it's my job to get in front of them. I don't wait for Facebook to make that happen. I make sure I'm creating content. So to me, they are at a very cold level of lead. They're not ready to buy. They are just dipping their toe in the pond. They're just getting to know a little bit about me, but I still think they're a lead. Now, if they watch my Facebook Lives, I think they are a little bit warmer of a lead because they know me a little bit more. If I can get them onto my email list, they're really warm. They're more likely to open my emails and purchase from me from my email list. If they go into my group, they're warmer. So I see degree of leads everywhere. I don't know that I've defined the difference between leads and prospects. I think they're pretty interchangeable. The difference is I wouldn't call someone who likes my page a prospect because we don't have a personal relationship. So I guess that's the definition. I just created it for myself. That's my definition, and I'm sure people will disagree with me. Somebody who's a prospect, I feel like I know them. We've spoken, we've connected, we have a relationship. I'm aware of their business. They're aware of me. We're at a different level. Excuse me.
Got it. Yeah, a lot of talking, a lot of value. We're almost at the end. There's just, you have so much to give that I want to just take as much as we can for me and for the listeners. But I think an important one to quickly ask is you mentioned a lot this idea of business page. When should somebody create the business page? Let's say I have a personal profile, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Why should I create the business page? And then when should I create a group and why? And how do this differ and tie into each other?
Yeah, it's great. It's such a gray area that people don't really understand. A lot of people start their personal profile and they think that's their business presence. However, when we start our personal profile, we agree to Facebook's terms and conditions, which nobody reads, I'm pretty sure. And in the terms and conditions, it says that we will not do business on our personal profile. We agree. Our personal profile is for personal use, not for business use. So as soon as we do business directly onto our profile, we are violating Facebook's terms and conditions, and they could shut you down. Now, tons of people get away with this. Tons of people do this. But every once in a while, Facebook goes on a binge. And I know a couple of years ago, they shut down 800,000 profiles of people who were violating this. And people who had been doing it for a long period of time and making a ton of money from it. And then all of a sudden, I in fact had a client who promoted an event on her profile. She just mentioned her event and put a link in, and she was talking about it. They shut down her profile. Nothing she could do because she broke their rules. So your profile is intended for personal connections, friends, family. Business connections come in there, networking. There is ways to get people to identify themselves as prospects or leads to you from your profile. There's a way to connect with people and have conversations that allows you to then move things off of your profile, maybe into private message or a Zoom chat or whatever, or Pensite, whatever it is you use to have that conversation, but you've identified them through your profile without breaking Facebook's rules. There's also so many limits on your profile. You can't run ads, you don't get any marketing analytics, and you can only have 5,000 friends, which sounds like a lot, but when you're building a sustainable business for your future, that's not a ton of prospects to build from, right? So you build your business page as soon as you have a business, as soon as you launch on Facebook, as soon as you come in, you just start that page and you get going and you start learning what to do. And I always say, focus on that. That is your business hub on Facebook. That is where people are going to get that first micro commitment to you of liking your page. That's where they're going to first get to know you. That's where you're going to nurture their relationships. And as you get more established and have a better system in place so that it's not taking up all of your time. Everything new takes up more time than it does after you've gotten good at it, right? So after you've gotten the rhythm of your page really narrowed down and it's working for you, if you want to run a challenge, if you've got a group coaching program or something like that, then develop a group because it's more private, it's more off to the side, it's not as public. You can go deeper with them. They're ready to go deeper with you. They've raised their hand and said, I want to go deeper. So I see your page as sort of the top end of your funnel in Facebook, and your group and your email list is where you segment prospects who are hot. A lot of people will stay on your page. Some will never buy from you. You're not for everyone. But the people who are ready to go deeper go into your group and your email list, and they all work together.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. So I'm a coach and I'm just getting on Facebook. Maybe I have a personal profile, but what I should focus on is create that business page. And should I interact from that business page as I would from my personal page? Like, should I do the engagement posts and everything else from that business page? Is that the place where I'm going to do the whole interaction from?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I can run ads through my business page. I get marketing analytics. I learn, where are these people from? Who are they? What are their demographics? Facebook gives me a whole bunch of information from there. There's a ton of tools that Facebook gives us there. We can connect our Instagram account if we have that, and we can cross post between the two, which allows us to cut down on our times. So we absolutely want to be, and this kind of goes full circle back to where we started. Your business page is for business, but you need to be personal in your business in order for people to want to do business with you. You need to bring in that lighthearted stuff. You need to do the engaging posts from your business page so that people get to know you. And everybody says your business page is dead. What's the point of posting there? And years ago, I was hearing this a lot and I kind of got annoyed. And I decided to do an experiment. I basically abandoned my profile for a month. I stopped posting anything on my profile. And instead, everything that I was posting on my profile, I started posting on my business page. Did not run any ads during this period of time. 30 days, I took everything from my profile and put it on my business page. My reach and my engagement more than doubled. because people started interacting with me there. That's where I want the interaction. My profile's nice. I'll do that, sometimes, but I want the interaction on my business page because now I can learn more about you. And now if you're in Facebook ads, now I can retarget you in ads, which I can never do on my profile. So the power is in your business page, and that's where you want to focus your attention in order to grow your business.
Got it. Lesson learned. I shall follow your advice as well. And so then quickly to, let's say, wrap up some of the learnings. If I create my Facebook page now, I shall start by doing what I do with my profile, but just from scratch. Like I should still interact, be visible, be active, engage, post, and then maybe, or from the beginning, should I use the paid ads to draw people for those initial 1,000 likes? Do you recommend I use the ads in the beginning?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got a page and you've invited your mom and your sister and your brother-in-law to like your page, which is great, they're going to be your biggest fans for sure. But you've got 10 people who like your page and you post something. Now, organically, typically, Facebook says 5% of the people who like your page will see your posts. 5%. That's nothing. Now, people who follow what I teach typically get, 50% up to 200%. So even more people seeing their posts than actually who like their page because they follow what I teach them around engagement and around visibility. But if you've only got 10 people liking your page, even if you got 200%, you're now only at 20. So you're just too small to get noticed on this platform. We do need to play the numbers a little bit. So if you're just starting your page, you want to jump in and learn how to run a page likes campaign, super low budget, and get that set up and get inviting people, getting out into Facebook, paying Facebook to show your ad to targeted people who are real prospects to you, to get them to like your page. Otherwise, how will they ever know that you exist? Because you just aren't going to get enough engagement from a page with only 10 or 20 likes on it to make you stand out in the newsfeed, right? So we have to start with growing our numbers. Numbers are the thing that tell Facebook how interesting we are. So we have to have numbers in order to show up to more people.
Got it. And when we are, let's say, no one, in the sense of we're just getting started, we are never no one, we are someone. But
Yeah.
how do we get those likes, in the sense, what is that post ad about? Like, why would they follow us? How does that look in the beginning when we have no credibility or authority built?
Right. And it is very counterintuitive, as so many things on Facebook are. It's counterintuitive. So it's a very specific type of ad. It's in the ads manager. It's called a page likes campaign. And because we're looking for micro commitments, we're showing up in people's news feeds as strangers. We aren't going to show up with a big heavy sale. We aren't going to show up and tell them a whole ton about us. In fact, this ad only has one sentence. 2 sentences, I guess, actually. The question and then the call to action. That's all that's written in this ad. So for my page likes campaign, I say, love getting clients. They're going to say yes to that because they're coaches and they love getting clients, right? Love getting clients, then like us. That's it. If we show up with an ad asking them to like our page and we say, well, I started my business 12 years ago and I really struggled with this. And then I worked on this and then I do this for people. And now I do this for people. And, now I do this and it's all me, 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 me. Do you hear that? It's all about me. And I'm trying to tell people that I can help them. I'm trying to prove to them that I know what I'm talking about, but it's shifting the focus off of them. And they're sitting on Facebook wanting it to be about them. So I can't spend, and first off, they're not going to read a whole paragraph from a stranger, having that stranger tell them how great they are, right? It just doesn't work in people's brains. They're like, why would I read how great you are? Who are you? Right? So I'm going to be really, really simple. Love getting clients, love being fit, love being happy, love collecting more leads. The question has got to be to their biggest pain. And then the directive is just like our page. That's all you have to do right now. You don't have to do anything else. The like button's right on the ad. So they don't even have to leave their newsfeed. They click the like button and they scroll on by. Now it's my job to show up in their newsfeed with more content for them to engage with. So it's a super simple ad to set up.
Got it. Got it. And the last one on this, and it's pretty, I would say, controversial. I see lots of coaches, maybe some putting in the time to come up with their own engagement posts, their own value. Like, no, let's just stick to engagement posts, or yeah. And others copying those posts that work the best, those that get hundreds of comments. What's your view on this? What's ethical, what's not? Is it okay for us to use some of those engagement posts? Because in the end, there's just one question. It's so simple. Why can we not replicate it? So, what's your view on this? Should we come up always with these questions ourselves, or can we borrow from others according to what works and what doesn't?
I think it's a great question. And I think part of the pain that a lot of people have is they are trying to recreate the wheel every single time they want to post, and it's taking up so much time. And they aren't seeing it directly lead to result. And so they don't continue with that process, because when it comes, when we're tired and burnt out, we have to cut the fat somewhere. Well, I spend an hour a day creating content that barely gets me engagement. So why would I continue doing that? Right. So nothing really is new out there. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with sharing other people's content. I think it depends on how you do it. So if I see a really great post in my newsfeed and I want to share it with my community, I will actually use the share button and share it. Now I'm helping that person get more reach and engagement. And I'm sharing something amazing for my community that I want them to interact with. I'll always add my own commentary to it. I'm helping somebody else and I'm attributing their content to them. But if it's something like engagement, like how long have you been a parent? Nobody created that question that has ownership to that question. If you see somebody posting a question on their business page or in their group that's getting a ton of engagement, they saw it from somebody else. It's a question in the world. It's a question I would ask if I sat down with a new friend. So how old are your kids? I'd ask that. Nobody owns that question. So that, you can borrow and use for yourself, no problem. It's being done all the time. If it's something they created, if they created an inspirational image and they've got their branding on it, then don't take it and try and make it your own. But I think there's huge value in sharing other people's content and letting people know where it came from. I think it's actually elevating your authority, because it shows that you follow people so they don't have to follow everyone. They can just follow you to get the great content, right? Or to get the great interaction. It shows that you have integrity because you are letting people know where you got this from by allowing their information, their branding to continue through. You might get the attention of that other person and end up with a nice joint venture partner that you didn't think you had before, right? So it's all reciprocity. And I think not recreating the wheel is super important. And I mean, I have a content creation club that actually does that. We create 30 pieces of content every month for our members. They can download it and use it for their engagement on their business page. I think social media has changed that whole idea. I think you have to be careful. Now, if you buy a course and you like the course, you don't go and just replicate it and make it your own, right? So you still have to function within your values and make sure that you're not doing things that are unethical. But I think social media has changed that, because the time it would take to create everything that needs to be created is prohibitive to actually running your business. So share the good content that's out there. Help other people get better engagement as well. It's all interchangeable.
Got it. But I've heard that if you share somebody's post, the engagement is actually not as high, or the post doesn't reach that many people. Is that true?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Typically, although I've seen it go the other way and have it. I mean, so I don't think there's any hard and fast rule that's written in stone here. Typically, if you share someone else's post using the share feature, your post isn't going to get as much reach. But there's always a time to strategically do that. right? There's still a time to do that. Even if that post doesn't get as much reach for you, there still can be a reason why that's a good idea to do that. And then you've got your other engaging posts coming out. If I see a post in my newsfeed that's going super viral and it's not branded in any way, sure, I'll download it and I'll use it. I might say, thanks to Maria for, sharing this post with me, right? I might do it that way. I look for the branding. I'm going to always honor that. If somebody has branded it, it's theirs, and I'm going to attribute that to them. And me doing a share using the share feature actually helps them, right? That's one of the pieces of the algorithm that it's watching. So it helps them reach more people. If I'm strategic about who that person is, there's a reason for that. That's not a bad thing.
Good. And now for the magical ending. You told us leave the listeners wanting more from you. And we've had a pretty long talk. So for those listening, they, I guess, are really committed. Now, my question, so that we can leave them thinking about the next thing and wanting more, is how do you turn a lead into a sale? And that's how we will end this.
I love that. And again, we go back to the numbers, right? You're not going to sell to every single person you connect with or every lead that you get. So you have to know your numbers a little bit. If you have a 10% conversion rate and you get 10 leads and you convert, 10 of those, that's one sale, right? It's how we get to that conversion. So it's all about that strategy of what was the thing that they claimed that made them a lead, that got them into your email list or got them into your group. And then it really comes down to you continuing to go deeper with your service and the repetition that we talked about, showing up more often in their space than you're probably comfortable with, and making the right offers. The number one reason I see people not making the sales that they want is they are not offering the right thing to the right people at the right time. That's key. So you've got to have a sequence where you've brought somebody into your email list or your group through them claiming a lead magnet that you've created. Then your offer has to make sense. It has to be the next step, right? And you have to build up your authority with them. You have to care about them and show them that you can help them. So there has to be an entire nurture sequence that goes on in this. If somebody comes into our group, they get welcomed into a welcome video that we have recorded in the group. We message them and say, welcome. We offer them a free training that we have recorded for them. We follow up with them and ask them questions. Does that mean they're going to buy? Some right out of the gate, yes. Some in a month, some in a year. I had people come and hire me recently that I've known for 3 years. We never know when people are going to actually sign up. So we just have to keep working the strategy and keep filling the top of that funnel with new leads and knowing that they're going to convert and mastering our message.
Wow. Can I just say it's a lot of information. I myself will probably go over this again on a new day with the fresh mind to just try to take everything in and actually turn that into action, right? Because otherwise, this will just go in, go out, most of it. But it's also so much, how to say, so many actionable insights. It's not just general information that we see everywhere, it's actual things that we can do. This has been incredible. Thank you so, so much. For all of our listeners, if you are interested in hearing more from Sherri, into discovering more what she's doing, into maybe asking her questions, you can do that on her Penside profile. So if you just type her name and Penside, you'll find her there. And from there, you can find her Facebook, her other social media platforms, and you can reach out to her in any way that you prefer. Sherri-Lee, thank you so much. Any last words you would like to share with our awesome listeners today?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you to you for having me on. Thank you to everybody else who's listening. I know I give a lot. I give a lot of content and I go on tangents. So thank you for sticking with us. I think the number one thing I want everybody to know is this is something they can do. Everybody started with a business page that had 0 likes on it. And Everybody can do this. I just want you to trust yourself and trust the system and know that it works. But I know every one of you can have the sales that you want from Facebook, whether you invest in ads or not. And don't give up. And if what you're doing isn't working, reach out for help.
What a better way to end it. Thank you so much once more, Sherri-Lee. Awesome listeners. I shall see you for the next podcast episode. And yeah, don't hesitate to get in touch with Sherri-Lee, find out more, follow her, and get all of that advice and tricks and tips and everything from her because she knows what she's doing. Awesome. Thank you very much. Till next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be releasing new ones every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars on your favourite podcast platform to give other people the chance to discover us too.